Could three ancient tribes in the Philippines hold the answer to one of the greatest mysteries in human history? This is more than a story. It's a journey into the unknown. Deep in the untouched forests and towering mountains of the Philippines, the Agta, Higaonon, and Aeta tribes carry traditions and stories that might connect them to the lost tribes of Israel. Yes, you heard that right. This could be a link between two worlds, two histories, and two destinies. For centuries, these tribes have lived in harmony with nature, practicing rituals and preserving oral histories that resonate with echoes of the Bible. From their chants and dances to their sacred objects, these traditions bear striking similarities to ancient Israelite customs. Blood covenants, sacred numbers, and even monotheistic prayers to a single creator. But this isn't just about the past. It's about how their heritage could reshape our understanding of history and faith. Could their DNA, artifacts, and rituals unlock answers about biblical prophecy and humanity's shared spiritual journey? Stay with us as we uncover untold stories, decode sacred symbols, and dive into scientific and spiritual evidence that challenges everything we thought we knew. The truth might be closer than you think, and this journey has only just begun. The Agta tribe, guardians of the forest. The Agta, one of the oldest tribes in the Philippines, are known for their extraordinary bond with nature. Their lives revolve around the forests and rivers that sustain them. But their rituals, they go far beyond survival. In the stillness of their sacred groves, Agta elders perform ceremonies to honor the spirits of the forest. Offerings are made, prayers are sung, and their connection to the divine feels almost tangible. Could these rituals be more than simple traditions? Look closer. Their practices include purification rites by rivers, a striking resemblance to the ritual cleansing described in Leviticus 15:13. He'll wash his clothes and bathe his body in running water, and he shall be clean. It's not just the act, but the intent, a deep reverence for purity, balance, and the divine. Now, picture a mountaintop, where another tribe gathers, weaving rituals as ancient as time. What if their traditions hold even more striking parallels to biblical customs? The Higaonon tribe, keepers of harmony. The Higaon people inhabit the mountainous regions of Mindanao. Their ceremonies are elaborate and precise, focusing on balance and harmony with the land. They believe that every act has a cosmic consequence, a concept not far from the covenantal practices described in Exodus 19:05. Now therefore, if you will indeed obey my voice and keep my covenant, you shall be my treasured possession among all people. Their rituals often include the symbolic shedding of blood to seal agreements. This isn't just tradition. It mirrors the blood covenants found in the Old Testament, where agreements were sanctified through sacrifices. Genesis 15, 1 and 9 and 10. Could these customs, separated by thousands of miles and years, share a common origin? What if the stories aren't just told, they're danced? What if the rhythms of ancient Israel still beat in the heart of the Philippines? The Aeta tribe, guardians of the spirit. The Aeta, one of the earliest settlers of the archipelago, are renowned for their vibrant oral traditions, chants, and dances. Their spiritual expressions are vivid and powerful, often performed during significant life events such as harvests and healing ceremonies. One ritual involves rhythmic dances that mimic the cycles of the natural world, a sacred choreography reminiscent of biblical festivals like the Feast of Tabernacles, Leviticus 23:39-41. Their chants call upon a single supreme deity, a belief in one God that aligns with the Israelite understanding of Yahweh, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Deuteronomy 6:04. The Aeta's reverence for the divine transcends their geographical isolation. Could their dances and chants be living remnants of an ancient connection to Israel's worship? Across these three tribes, a pattern emerges: rituals of purification, ceremonies invoking balance and covenant, and prayers directed to one Creator. Each practice, though distinct, weaves into a larger tapestry that resonates with Israelite traditions. The number 7, symbolizing divine perfection, appears in Higaonon planting rituals. Blood covenants, key in both Higaonon and Agta practices, mirror ancient Israelite sacrifices. Purification rites using water echo Old Testament laws of cleanliness. These aren't isolated traditions, they're ancient echoes, whispered across time and geography. But these spiritual practices are just the beginning. What if the stories these tribes tell reveal even more profound connections? Could their legends unlock a lost chapter of human history? The Agta, guided by divine light across vast waters. Picture this: generations of Agta elders sitting in a sacred grove, recounting tales of their ancestors. These ancestors spoke of a journey, a vast, treacherous migration guided by a divine light. Through raging seas and uncharted lands, they say, a pillar of light led them to safety, to a promised place. Does this sound familiar? The biblical Exodus tells of God guiding the Israelites with a pillar of cloud by day and fire by night, Exodus 13:21. Could these Agta stories be an echo of that ancient journey, preserved for millennia? The Higaonon, a sacred covenant with the divine. Deep in the mountains of Mindanao, the Higaonon people honor a covenant, a sacred promise between their ancestors and a higher power. In their oral traditions, this covenant required obedience, reverence, and living in harmony with the land. Biblical parallels leap to mind. In Exodus 19:05, God says to the Israelites, "Now therefore, if you will indeed obey my voice and keep my covenant, you shall be my treasured possession among all peoples." Could the Higaonon's covenant be a remnant of this divine agreement, passed down through time and geography? The Aeta celestial beings and divine God. The Aeta people speak of celestial beings, messengers from the heavens, who brought moral laws and guidance to their ancestors. These beings, they say, taught their people how to live righteously and maintain balance with the natural world. This evokes the angels in the Bible who delivered divine messages to guide humanity. Consider how the angel of the Lord appeared to Moses in the burning bush, delivering God's command to lead the Israelites to freedom, Exodus 3:02. Could the Aeta's celestial messengers be a cultural memory of such divine encounters? Echoes of the Exodus, shared themes across time and space. The stories of these tribes resonate deeply with the biblical narrative of the Israelites' migration. Divine guidance through light. Sacred covenants demanding faith and obedience. Celestial messengers imparting moral laws. These aren't just coincidences, they're profound parallels. Imagine if these oral traditions weren't isolated tales but pieces of a larger puzzle, preserved across oceans and centuries. Could the Agta, Higaonon, and Aeta be unknowingly keeping alive the memory of the lost tribes of Israel? The role of tribal elders, keepers of sacred memory. These stories live because of the elders. Among the Agta, Higaonon, and Aeta, elders are revered as living archives of ancestral wisdom. Their role mirrors the prophets and priests of ancient Israel, who preserved God's commands and passed them to the next generation. Consider this: Higaonon elders speak of visions and dreams received in moments of divine communion. Aeta elders recount warnings and guidance delivered by celestial beings during crises. Agta elders emphasize the importance of spiritual obedience, reminding their people of blessings tied to faith. This isn't just storytelling, it's a sacred duty, a bridge between the past and the future. If these tribes carry echoes of divine guidance, what tangible evidence might they have left behind? Could their artifacts, symbols, or even DNA hold the key to unraveling this mystery? Their stories resonate with biblical themes, but now let's look closer at the artifacts, symbols, and cultural practices that might connect them to the Israelites. In the dense forests and rugged mountains of the Philippines, the tribes of the Agta, Higaonon, and Aeta create art not just for beauty, but for meaning. Their woven garments, ceremonial tools, and sacred spaces are adorned with intricate patterns, triangles, spirals, and even mountain motifs. To these tribes, these designs are not random. They represent something much deeper, the divine. The Bible often uses mountains as symbols of divine encounters. Mount Sinai, for example, is where Moses received the Ten Commandments, Exodus 19:20. Similarly, the triangle, a shape that appears repeatedly in tribal art, has long been associated with spiritual connection in ancient cultures. Could this be a reflection of their ancestral memory, preserved for generations? One fascinating example is the woven patterns on ceremonial clothing. The repetition of sacred numbers like 3, 7, and 12, the same numbers that dominate biblical numerology, appears throughout their designs. 7, often associated with divine perfection, Genesis 2:02, is frequently found in their rituals and garments. 12, the number of Israel's tribes, also finds its echo in their sacred ceremonies, artifacts. Tools of ancient worship. The Agta tribes use ceremonial daggers, while the Higaonon maintain sacred staffs, passed down through generations. These objects, often adorned with symbolic carvings, bear an uncanny resemblance to tools described in the Old Testament. For example, the sacred staffs used in Higaonon rituals mirror the staff of Aaron, which carried divine significance, Numbers 17:8. Even more intriguing are the stones used by the Aeta in their spiritual ceremonies. These stones are carefully placed in specific patterns to mark sacred spaces, just as the Israelites built altars of stone to commemorate their encounters with God, Joshua 4:7. Could these parallels be more than coincidence? Pottery fragments and ceremonial tools unearthed in tribal lands have designs that echo Middle Eastern artifacts. Archaeologists have even found markings resembling menorah-like patterns, a symbol deeply tied to ancient Israelite worship. Language is another powerful thread connecting these tribes to ancient Israel. Linguists have discovered that certain tribal dialects contain words with phonetic similarities to ancient Semitic languages. Words for sacred objects, names of divine beings, and even terms for specific numbers carry echoes of Hebrew or Aramaic roots. For example, terms used to describe God in tribal prayers reflect a monotheistic belief in a singular creator, reminiscent of the Hebrew word Elohim. Could these linguistic fingerprints be remnants of an ancestral connection? The symbols and artifacts are undeniably intriguing, and the linguistic clues give us even more reason to explore. But what does modern science say? Could DNA and genetic research finally answer the question that has lingered for generations? The evidence is waiting to be uncovered. In recent years, scientists have uncovered astonishing evidence that links the Agta, Higaonon, and Aeta tribes of the Philippines to Middle Eastern populations, including Jewish communities. Through advanced genetic studies, researchers discovered specific haplogroups, genetic markers passed down through generations, that are surprisingly similar to those found in Jewish DNA. These findings spark a thrilling possibility. Could these tribes be distant relatives of the Israelites, dispersed during biblical times? The Bible speaks of the scattering of the 12 tribes of Israel, as foretold in Amos 9:9. For I will give the command, and I will shake the people of Israel among all the nations. Could the Philippines have been one of those nations? But that's not all. DNA is just one piece of the puzzle. Let's look at the way these tribes live and what their customs reveal about their ancient past. As we delve deeper, another striking parallel emerges: dietary laws. Certain tribes in the Philippines avoid specific animals and follow food preparation methods that resemble kosher principles from the Old Testament. For example, some avoid pork and shellfish, much like the laws outlined in Leviticus 11. But how could this happen? These tribes were isolated from Jewish communities for centuries. Could these practices be remnants of an ancient faith, preserved unconsciously through the generations? Their choices in diet aren't mere coincidence. They may echo a sacred heritage rooted in the Torah. And if their meals carry whispers of the past, what about their leaders? Could the way these tribes govern themselves reveal even more? Among the Higaonon, the Datu serves as a central figure, much like the tribal leaders in ancient Israel. These leaders are chosen not only for their wisdom, but also for their role as spiritual guides. Similarly, the Agta and Aeta tribes rely on their elders to mediate disputes, lead rituals, and preserve sacred traditions. The resemblance doesn't stop there. In Numbers 11:16, God commands Moses to appoint 70 elders to share leadership responsibilities. The idea of elders holding authority over spiritual and societal matters parallels the hierarchical structures still seen in these Filipino tribes today. Could these striking similarities between tribal leadership in the Philippines and Israelite traditions be more than a coincidence? Let's bring all the pieces together. What does this mean for the Filipino people? Science and tradition together paint a compelling picture. From DNA evidence connecting these tribes to the Middle East, to their kosher-like dietary laws and even their leadership structures, the clues point to a shared history that bridges continents. But what does this mean for the Filipino people today? This discovery isn't just about tracing ancestry, it's about understanding purpose. Could these tribes hold a divine role in preserving a fragment of biblical history? As Isaiah 49:6 says, "I will also make you a light for the Gentiles, that my salvation may reach to the ends of the earth." What do you think? Could this be part of a grand design, linking the Philippines to biblical prophecy? Share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear your perspective. The scientific evidence aligns beautifully with cultural and historical patterns, but the bigger question remains, what is the spiritual mission of these tribes? And what can we all learn from their enduring legacy? In the untouched forests of the Philippines, where the Agta, Higaonon, and Aeta tribes have lived for centuries, whispers of an ancient narrative persist. Their rituals, oral histories, and sacred symbols seem to echo a story much older than their islands. A story that may trace back to the lost tribes of Israel. The Bible speaks of these tribes in the book of Isaiah. "I will bring your offspring from the east, and from the west I will gather you." Isaiah 43:5. Could these Filipino tribes be part of this prophetic gathering? Their traditions carry striking parallels, sacred numbers like 7, altars built of stones, and blood covenants sealed in ceremony, all customs found in ancient Israelite worship. Even their prayers reflect an understanding of one supreme creator, aligning with the monotheism of the Israelites. But it doesn't stop there. What if these tribes also hold clues about your spiritual journey today? Could their story change how we see the role of the Filipino people in God's grand design? For the Filipino people, these connections go beyond historical curiosity. They could represent a divine mission, an invitation to rediscover their role in a sacred narrative. Just as the Israelites were called to be a light to the nations, could the Filipinos be called to continue this legacy? Imagine this: the cultural resilience of the Agta, the spiritual depth of the Higaonon, and the profound connection to the land of the Aeta are not just heritage, they are whispers of a shared history with the chosen people of Israel. And what does this mean for the world? If these tribes are living links to a biblical prophecy, then the Philippines carries a story that belongs to all of us, a story of unity, faith, and divine purpose. This isn't just about Filipino heritage. It's about understanding our shared spiritual history. From the DNA evidence that links these tribes to the Middle East, to linguistic traces of ancient Semitic words, the connections are too compelling to ignore. These discoveries challenge us to rethink what we know about migration, faith, and the interconnectedness of humanity. The Bible teaches us in Romans 8:28, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose." Could the Filipino people be part of this divine purpose, preserving the fragments of a lost story, waiting to be retold? The evidence is mounting, but the journey doesn't end here. What more could we uncover about these tribes and their role in fulfilling biblical prophecy? What does this mean for your faith, your heritage, and your place in this incredible story? We've traveled through dense forests, climbed towering mountains, and delved into the ancient traditions of the Agta, Higaonon, and Aeta tribes. What we've uncovered is nothing short of extraordinary, a potential link between these Filipino tribes and the lost tribes of Israel. From their sacred rituals and oral stories to scientific and historical clues, the evidence tells a story of resilience, faith, and divine purpose. But now it's your turn. What do you think? Could these tribes truly hold a connection to the Israelites? What part of their story resonates most with you? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's start a conversation about this incredible discovery. And remember, this is just the beginning. The more we uncover, the more questions arise. Could there be even more tribes, more artifacts, and more stories waiting to be revealed? What if this journey could redefine not just the history of the Philippines, but humanity's shared spiritual heritage? If this video sparked your curiosity or opened your eyes to new possibilities, don't stop here. Like this video, share it with others, and let's spread the word about this profound mystery. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell icon so you never miss an update. Together, we'll continue to explore, discover, and uncover the hidden threads of history. Thank you for watching and for being part of this journey. Your engagement, your questions, and your insights are what make this exploration meaningful. Until next time, keep searching, keep asking, and remember, sometimes the answers we seek are closer than we ever imagined.